For me, it's also the 6th hour, okay? Okay, I'll just need that. I'm sorry.
Achtung.
Alright. Okay, I'll try not to break anything this time. Okay, let's hope that this time it'll work better than last time. You will not be able to see anything. By the way, who can hear me without the microphone pretty well? Or is there the need for a microphone? Because it's a real pain in the ass typing on the laptop and talking to this thing all the time.
Yeah, somebody can hold it.
I can hold it for you.
Oh, no, it's
Is it a compromise?
I think it's alright if I just do it like that.
You're going to have to talk to the front so people really hear you.
Can we try to get it sharp? The beamer? The projector? Kind of. That's good enough. Just go back. Okay, I want to talk about complexity because the world is amazing, the world is complex, which is why it is fascinating, because, you know, fascination comes from things that you don't understand and that change the way that, how you perceive the world. Like talks like our lightning talks here, where some people give you facts about life or perspectives on life that surprise you. And all that we're doing here all the time is constantly just to try to cope with the complexity of life. And the thing is that there is a very nice branch of mathematics that deals with just that question. It's complexity theory. And all I want to show you now is that complexity usually is not at all arising from complexity. It's arising from simplicity. And there is a stupid little toy model, a stupid little game that you can play. It's called the game of life. And the game of life is a mathematical game. It's a game. It's a game. Let's say it's a game on a square board. Okay, so like a piece of paper where you write your numbers in. Damn it! Okay, square paper. Okay, and each of these little boxes on your square paper, imagine that it has its own life. Okay, it can be either dead or alive, and there is now only a few rules to what will happen to this little box in the next generation. If, for example, two cells, like two boxes beside this cell, are also alive, then they can sustain each other. So in the next cycle, they will still be alive. If there is an empty box that is dead, and there is 3 alive boxes beside it, it will get born and will have life in the next round. So it'll get dark, so to say. And if there's too many boxes, more than 3, it will just die, like with overcrowding. Okay? And now imagine you just are bored and you take a random a pencil and you draw some of these boxes out. Okay? And then you apply these rules. And now I just want to show you what happens if you just do that. So I wrote this little program here. And
No más.
Okay. So this is our game board here, okay? So a 0 stands for that the cell is dead, and a 1 signifies that the cell is alive initially. Look at this little single thing here, okay? It'll come clear now, it'll look much nicer when I start the simulation. I just apply these rules, okay? So some cells are overcrowded, they will die. Some just have the right amount of neighbors, they will rise, okay? So 3 basic rules, and now we just see what happens. It's the same file. So what you see is that you really cannot tell what is going on. It is kind of weird, but it is definitely not what you probably expected from only 3 simple rules. Suddenly it has developed its kind of a life on its own. And the cool thing about that stuff is that the system is as mighty as any computer. If you just choose the right setup in the beginning, it can do arbitrary computation. So this system, in theory, is as mighty as my entire computer. And that is kind of awesome. And that is all I want to say about complexity, that complexity sometimes is just crazily simple. It's 3 rules, and you cannot really see from what it's, yeah, from these simple 3 rules, you would have not expected any stable structures or anything to appear really on the screen. And especially not from that little starting spot from where life just branches out randomly. And that is all I want to transport today. That is my view on what science is. Science is about getting what you did not expect, because that is the essence of experience. And the beauty of science to me is really that you can sometimes not anticipate how simple life is and how complicated it looks. And that the hope that I draw from science is that with all this overwhelming complexity that surrounds us, still sometimes you can find these little diamonds. And when you shine this white, complex light through it, it breaks it off and you can see the beauty of the rainbow and the simple colors that reality consists of. And that, I think, is the beauty to me of science, really. And I hope that this completely... there was not a single formula, so don't nail me on that. I hope that this was kind of giving you a perspective on why nerds like me try to convey what is so fascinating about it. And I thank you for your attention. Any questions about that? You in the back.
Yeah, I have a question. What is the most complex thing you discovered was the simplest one? Your personal experience in science.
Astonishingly, the complex things I never found in science. The things that really puzzled me were not at all found in science. You know, all this math crap and science in general, it's made for men. It's the simplest approximations that we can do to the real world, which is why usually people that are, you know, not too much into complexity actually go for science. What I found most interesting actually is just people. They are so fucking insane and what the fuck? Beginning with me. It's completely, I mean, we had this talk today about what to do, like what you should be doing, what the real problem is. And think about it. We're standing here and we could have the exact same quality of experience without all this shit. Without a computer, without beamers, we could all sit here naked like 500,000 years ago and be completely happy. And in fact, maybe this was the highest state of civilization. Maybe, because we were not fucking up our planet at this point, right? So where is the fucking progress, if I might ask?
Go to a German sauna. It's like that. Everyone's naked.
Which is one of the most civilized places on Earth for that very reason. No, this is what fascinates me. What fascinates me is that we are constantly inventing new toys to flee from integrity. To flee and distract us from what is really important, because that is the stuff that is get to heart. Not science. Science is a piece of shit. It's so fucking simple and meaningless when you try to solve a real issue with that. I mean, I'm studying physics and I'm getting frustrated by the fact that all my knowledge that I worked my ass off to get my head around this shit, and then we just use it to build fucking toys for grown-ups. What the fuck is wrong with us? There are people starting to do that. Well, we are solving stupid toy models and toy products to just distract us from what is fucking going on. And that is what fascinates me the most.
Can I just say something to that?
No, we can talk about that later, or you have a spontaneous talk. Other questions? Yeah.
Do you think we can use a model to modify people's life?
Not
Like
at all, because
just
we have so many opportunities to choose. Choices in every fucking second, right?
So pay attention, I major in psychology.
Yeah, whatever.
And
we
I
have choice
studied
every
human
moment.
mental.
And
So
I
do you
just see
think
that
we can use a model to modify people's life?
a model to modify people's lives.
Yeah, but you just said, okay, there are two choices and one, 0 means die and 1 means life. And then you showed us how complexity our life could be.
Yeah.
Right? So you use a model to modify people's life and show us our results. But what my question is, I don't really, no offense, I don't really believe in that we can use one model to show people that how complexity our life could be.
So your point is that models are useless, or what is the point?
My point is, model is not useless, but one model is not enough for.
Definitely not, obviously.
Yeah, so
the thing is that what this model what I wanted to show with this model, the essence is the essence of science. This was the wraparound, that for astonishingly complexity, sometimes you can find surprisingly simple rules. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Okay, you in the back.
So we're not all scientists, but I think we all kind of agree that life is pretty complex and that we're all kind of trying to figure out what the hell is going on around us.
Yeah.
So how can we actually look at those simple rules behind complex situations? How can we figure those out if we're not super crazily talented scientists or geniuses?
Yeah, I always ask myself the same question, because the problem with this is that we always invent problems. We always invent problems. This is what I tried to express. We're not solving any problems. We're generating problems to distract us from very, very simple tasks. I mean, that is really, the simplicity of things is completely oblique. And that is what science is about. Science is about this very process that you're describing. The problem is it is hard work, and the problem is that this work is not successful. It is not at all successful. And so I really have no answer to your question. Yeah.
So, different thing from what I wanted to say just then. You say science is really crap at predicting how humans work.
Yeah, exactly.
I would disagree. I mean, math, as far as I know, math has created the best models we have for predicting and working with human behavior. They're called cybernetics and game theory.
Yeah. Did they solve any issue yet? I mean, the thing is that I'm not saying that it is useless. I'm saying that it is not something that you can rely on when your choices are stupid. I mean, that was the point I was trying to make when I was like, yeah, 90% of the spending on science is to produce toys. That is my point. So the question is, the striking question is, how do you repurpose our efforts, and whether we need what we are striving for in order to get the result that we really want. And at the moment, we seem to want distraction and not the solving of some real fundamental issues. For example, how is it possible?
Extreme poverty is almost eradicated.
No, it is fucking not.
Yes.
Maybe in Europe, but not.
No, all around the world.
And the guy from Mexico, is poverty not present anymore? Almost. In South America.
That's not the way to answer that
Yeah,
question.
it's like there is still a lot of poverty in the world.
Yes. So
Yes, there is poverty. I'm talking extreme poverty.
what is extreme poverty? Go to Senegal, and when the U.S. decided to refund or to sub, how do you say? Man, when they made their cotton so cheap
Yes.
that Senegal could not compete anymore on the global market, and Senegal and all the neighboring countries that were where the backbone was cotton, they were just as poor as you can get. They were starving to death. So I'm not really sure what you're talking about.
That's extreme poverty.
You have 7 billion people. If you don't modify the crops by using science, they will die of hunger. So you're saying you do science, there are no tools. So how do you feed 7 billion people if you don't do science?
For example, by leaving your comfort zone and going vegan, for example, you could feed Hamburg with when you make a ring around Hamburg for just crops and a vegan diet of Hamburg. You could feed Hamburg with a radius of 100 kilometers.
No, but you cannot have even crops for 7 billion people. You cannot even grow enough crops to feed even simple wheat for 7 billion people if you don't do science.
We cannot solve this issue with science neither if our choices are stupid. We have to reduce what we need. That is the simple answer.
Thank you, Maxim. Please give him a round of applause. If you want to talk with me, please take it in the corner. Yeah, so tonight we've finished with all the talks. As on behalf of the Lighting Talks team, we hope that you had a wonderful evening and that you could take something home with you. Even if it's just alcohol, it's alright. So yeah, we're still open until midnight. So if you guys like to enjoy, the bar is outside, or else yeah, you can use this as a dance floor also. We'll put on some music. So thank you for being here and see you next time.